Hi, my name is Dan Albalawi. I'm a professional makeup artist and hairstylist from Russia and also do a little bit of photography. In today's video I want to review the Natasha Denona mini bronze palette and create this beautiful pumpkin spice latte makeup look with this palette. And yes, it is perfect for that purpose. And I'm also planning to do a small cooking video today where I will show you how I create my personal homemade pumpkin spice latte, and at the end of this video I will also show you what to do to make your makeup look a little bit more muted if you feel that it went a little bit too bright and it became way too, for example, orange in my situation. This will be very useful for makeup artists and for more like fair skin-toned people who find most of makeup a little bit too bright on themselves, a little bit too vibrant. I will also give you a recipe to nice believable freckles with the stuff that you might already have at home. I know that I usually start with the makeup looks, but I think that today we will start with the swatches. And actually this palette was a gift from my friends on my 30th birthday, and if you're watching this video, thank you for this beautiful palette, and I really hope that Manchester is a nice city. So, the first shade is the deepest shade in the palette and it is called Russet. This one. This is quite a vibrant brown shade, I would say. It has a lot of orange to it. The second shade is Flesh. This is the lightest shade in the palette. I would characterize it as a camely orange. For me, this is a transition shade and it's no way like the inner corner highlighter. The third shade is Gobby. This is another brown-orange variation. This time it's like a middle depth orangey brown. Now the only metallic shade in the palette, all the other shades are matte by the way, and it is called Bronze Foil. It's extremely creamy. I think this might be the most orange bronze I have in my collection. For me, this shade is right on the border between a bronze and a metallic orange. And the last shade is Tough. For me, this is an bricky orange shade. So these are our swatches, and what I would like to say that this palette is insanely good in terms of quality. These shades are so blendable, they have enough of pigment, they are almost butter smooth, I would say, and I really enjoyed creating this makeup look with this palette, quality term wise. If we are speaking about the shades here, this palette was definitely created for people who are, in terms of skin tone, middle depth or deeper. Maybe not for the deepest of the deepest, because otherwise this palette will be way too light, but at least for people who have a lot of vibrancy into their appearance, who look good with all of those orangey shades. For everyone else, I would consider this palette as a colorful palette, like you would treat a palette with blue eyeshadows in it. Yes, this palette won't be as contrasty as a blue eyeshadow palette, but at least for me, these palettes are looking a little bit alien-y, like they are foreigners on my face a little bit. They are too vibrant and too warm for me. I'm much more muted and I'm a little bit more leaning to neutral, cool, or just neutral. I can't figure that out actually. These are not the colors I usually choose for my makeup looks, but I really enjoy playing with these shades, adding them to my makeup look like a small colorful accent. And as I'm quite muted, these shades, if I treat them like colorful shades, will look very nice because they are not too vibrant for colorful shades. So let's do the makeup look right now, and after the makeup look I will tell you how to work with a warmer shade that looks a little bit unnatural, how to make it look better on your face, and I will show you some other interesting tricks, okay? Let's start the makeup look. I will start with applying the Hourglass Veil Primer. I want to apply my Chanel Ultra Le foundation in the shade B10, which is full coverage, but I want to have a little bit thinner coverage. So what I will do, I will mix it with a little bit of moisturizing cream. Do you see how natural this coverage is? I would usually use 1.5 or 2 pumps on my face, but today I used 1 pump and I still have quite some left here because I mixed it with some moisturizing cream. And this is a great trick if you need a thinner coverage. If you're a little bit older and, for example, your foundation feels a little bit too heavy on your skin, this also may help. And this trick helps you vary the coverage really easily. I actually absolutely love how it looks on the skin right now, even more than I like it solo. This looks incredibly natural. But I will have to spot conceal, and for this purpose I will use the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Concealer in the shade 102 Fair. Now I will mix the same concealer that I used for spot concealing with Jeffree Star Concealer in the shade Peach. And with this mixture I will cover up my dark circles. I know that the transition between this peach shade under the eyes and this shade is not perfect, but I know that after that I'm going to polish my makeup a little bit with concealer after I do the eye makeup look, and then I will add this one more layer. Now I will apply my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. And again, a standard step for me, a little bit of satin powders to the brow bone for good blendability. I will start with the shade Gobby and I will be applying it into my crease. I'm not sure that this shade suits the pumpkin spice latte makeup look 100%, but I really want to show you all the shades in the palette. So I will be applying the shade Tough on my lower lid, but you can use the same shade that we used on our upper lids. You know what? I think this shade is good. It looks like some sort of spices. I'm using a pencil brush for this. Now I'll take my fluffy brush again, go into the previous shade that we used on our crease. I will half close my lower lids like that, and I will blend it down a little bit. The quality of these shadows is actually quite impressive. You know what? I think I want this shade on my upper lid, but not fully. So I will mix it with this middle shade and I will apply it in the outer corner and deepen my crease a little bit. I decided to apply this mixture till almost the inner corner. Now, I will pick up the lightest shade that is called Flesh and I will apply it in the inner corner. On me, this shade is kinda too dark. It looks like a transition shade, so I will blend it in a little bit and then I will apply some highlighter later on top of it. but on the lower lid here it looks quite nice. I feel that this makeup look requires a bit of liner, soft liner, which I will do with my deepest eyeshadow in the palette, which is called Russet, and I will apply it with my angled brush. I've decided that I'm doing a half liner today from the center of my iris till the outer corner and the wing. But as I have quite a lot of eyeshadow here and this shade is not drastically deeper than this shade, which is also like mixed here, I will apply a little bit of pencil, blend it in, and then apply this shade again on top. I will use the MAC pencil in the shade Costa Rica Rich, whatever, this one. And now I will apply the eyeshadows back. Now I want to add the shiny shade on my mobile lid here, and I will apply the shade which is called Bronze Foil with my finger. So I want to add some highlighter for my inner corner, and I'm thinking about my choices. So the choice number 1 is the Dior Backstage palette number 2. I have a review about it if you're curious. And I'm thinking of this peach shade, which looks more like apricot-y to me actually. So this is choice number 1. Or I also have this new beautiful highlighter. It's not new like generally in the world, but it's new for me, and this is MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the shade Beaming Blush. I know that it has a pink base, but it has a very beautiful gold sheen. So this is my choice number 2. This shade has so much shine, I want to use this one today. I think it was the right choice. For my waterline, I will use NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Gilded Taupe. You can actually use maybe like milky shade on your waterline, but I just found out that I don't have any milky shades, so I will use this one. Now I want to clean the center of my face with my concealer that I used before a little bit. I still want to keep my skin natural, so I'm doing the thinnest layer possible. You still can have some sculpture with this makeup look, but I'm planning to ditch it today. And I will use my cream bronzer by Chanel in the shade 390 Soleil Tan Bronze Universel. I know that this bronzer is extremely yellow, but here it works awesome. Anyway, choose the bronzer you have. I'm tapping on top of it a little bit to make it a little bit grey. It works like magic. If your skin doesn't get oily, you may skip powdering, but I cannot. And I will use my Laura Mercier translucent powder, a thin veil of it. The blush in this makeup look should be a little bit on the orangey side, and the most orange I think I have, or closer to the most orange I have, is the Coral Blush by Dior, so I will use this one, and I have a review on it as well. I know that they are not super orange, okay? Now the highlighter we used for the inner corner. I also think that this makeup look needs some freckles, and I will draw them with a pencil for eyebrows and a little bit of bronzer. To make freckles appear natural, they have to be irregular and have a little bit different shades of brown in it and different sizes. You may even add a couple on your eyelids if you want to. And now the bronzer. And what I like to do with the freckles, I like to take a little bit of powder bronzer, a brush, and go a little bit on top of the freckles, because what freckles are is a tan. So you should be a little bit deeper where the freckles are. Going on top with a bronzer creates the most believable and natural freckles. And nobody talks about it actually. Now I'll do my brows my regular way. I will first use a pencil. Now we'll use some clear gel. Mine is by Benefit. It is 24-hour brow setter and will make my brows a little bit more on a fluffier side. In terms of lips, for this makeup look, they either do like a lighter lip to represent the milk in the latte, or they go with the pumpkin theme. I think that I will do the Mocha lipstick by MAC. It suits this makeup look so well. I will have a more like a mono type of a makeup look. And as my lip line, I will use the Kiko Milana Smart Fusion Lip Pencil in the shade 533. Now the lipstick. I will do my lashes the way I did in this video. Also will be down there in the description. And I will come back to you. So this is the finished look and I think it looks fantastic. I just love it. It's so fun. I promised you the recipe of my homemade pumpkin spice latte and I'm delivering it. We will start with preparing the milk with all the spices and then we will make coffee Arabic style. I have this pumpkin puree. I baked the pumpkin last year, then I sealed it and kept it in the fridge. So this is the puree and we will add it to the pot. Now we will be adding milk. I'm using almond milk, but you can use whatever milk you like. Maximum heat. Let's talk about spices. First of all, cinnamon. We will snap it. Oh. The second one is cardamom. We will take a knife and press it into the milk. The next thing that we need is nutmeg. I already turned it almost into dust or powder in the coffee miller and I will add it into our milk. We also need to add some vanilla in the form you have. I have vanilla syrup or I have vanillin. They will both work, but if you have proper vanilla, you're a lucky guy or girl. So I will add this vanillin sugar type of thing into my milk. A quick taste test. I think we need more pumpkin. While it is boiling, we will be preparing our coffee. I have this thing. Who knows the name? Please write me in the comments. So we'll add here 4 teaspoons of coffee and I will fill it halfway, maybe like 2/3. The milk is boiling. I will turn the heat off and I will close the lid and I will let it sink in all the flavors. 4 teaspoons of coffee. Actually, my favorite coffee is this one by Chibo, but as you can see, I love it way too much. So today we are having this Greek coffee instead. This water was pre-boiled. And now we wait a little bit. I will show you the difference between the Turkish way to make coffee and Arabic way to make coffee. We start the same. We use this thing and we add water into it and coffee and we wait. We wait for the point the coffee starts to boil. and we will see that the bubbles will rise. It always happens quite unexpected, so we have to monitor it all the time. I think we're getting closer. You see, it starts to rise. So, as you can see, it has risen. So the Turkish style coffee is done, but the Arabic style coffee is not done yet. We put it back on the stove and we boil it more. We put it on, we lift it back so that it doesn't run away. And we need to get rid of this foam, frost, I will write the correct word. Arabs call it to boil till the clear eye, when the surface becomes clear. I don't like the color of this coffee. The chibi is better. So now it's good. As you can see, almost all the bubbles disappeared. Yeah, like that. And now I usually leave the coffee for 2 minutes for all the coffee particles to go down, and so that we will have the water on top. Also an interesting thing, usually an Arabic coffee has cardamom inside of it already. We take our milk with all the spices and strain it into the cup. Now we will add the coffee. And now if you want, we can add a sweetener. I will go with honey. Taste test. I think that I will go with less cinnamon next time, but it tastes really good. And now let's go back to the video. So we had our coffee break. Let's go back to makeup. If you have to deal with colors that don't look 100% natural on you, what you can do about that for those colors to look decent? First of all, we can use them as accents and frame them with shades that actually suit you very well. The second thing that you will need to do is to use this shade somewhere else in your appearance. For example, you may add some type of clothing that will match to that will have like pieces of this color, adding additional makeup that will match the theme of that shade will also help quite a lot. For example, to make the orange eyeshadows work, what I did, I played with the bronzer, with the shade of the bronzer, made it a little bit more vibrant. I added a more orangey blush, and I added freckles, which also associate with redheads, so it works together much better. And my lipstick is also in theme with all of that. And to make it look even better, I have an orange backlights, and I think I work with this environment quite well. And although these colors are not from my alley, in this environment altogether, it looks pretty decent. You also need to understand that if you are working with colors that don't suit you 100%, you need to pay a lot of attention to your skin preparation in terms of foundation and concealer. Because if the colors look unnatural on you, they will enhance all the dark circles, all the pimples, all the little stuff that will be invisible with the shades that actually suit you. So making a very nice clean foundation, working with the pimples, covering your dark circles will already help a lot. Another thing that can help if, for example, your eyes start to look sick is adding some black pencil or very dark brown pencil into the roots of your lashes, maybe even on the waterline, and blending it out. But if nothing helped and you see that the look just does not work, you don't need to take it off. There are ways to make it more neutral and more muted. To mute your eye makeup look, for example, you need to remember the color theory. And if you have not watched my video about color theory, I really recommend it to you. It's really good. The link will be down in the description and also here if there is still space for that. So we'll look at our color circle. We find the orange shade and we'll look for the opposite shade. And the opposite shade is, it should be blue. this circle is a little bit incorrect, but blue is the opposite for the orange. So we will take a little bit of blue with a fluffy brush and we will blend it into our eyeshadow, and immediately the eyeshadow look will become more muted. If you don't have blue eyeshadow, you may also use gray, but you will need a little bit more of the gray eyeshadow for the trick to work. So I have these blue eyeshadows by Viseart, and I will pick this shade up very delicately. Picked it up, I take off the excess and distribute the shadow, and now we'll blend it in. And that was literally it. Before, after. This is just literal sorcery to me. The outer corner as well. The lower shade is a little bit more red, so we'll need this teal green shade. Do you see how this makeup look immediately became more smoky and more muted? And it will work for the shiny shades as well. This is another Viseart palette, and I will pick up this bright blue shade. I did half of the lid to show you one more option. I also really like using taupey grey shades like this one from the Tom Ford Nude Dip palette. It can be any other type of greyish shade. Do you see our neutral result? Sometimes you ask me under the videos how I created this or other makeup look. And for example, I literally made a makeup look for the video and it was a little bit too bright, and I sit down like this and I mute it down, and then you write me in the comments that this is the most beautiful eyeshadow look. I really want to know how you did that. And I was mixing all of those shades and this was the way I created it. So I really hope that this tip was helpful and useful for you. So thank you very much for watching this video. I know it was a lot and kind of chaotic. Still, thank you. I really appreciate you watching till the end. I really hope to see you in the next video as well. Bye bye.